press the space bar.
Yeah. That's just-
I'd like to call the meeting to order and I'd like to welcome everybody to the council of the whole. First on our list is the approval of the agenda, and I need a motion.
So move.
Second.
Are there any discussion? Questions? No questions? I'd like to bring that to a vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary nay, motion carried. We have a presentation, Linda, to introduce.
Okay, thank you, your worship. So, we're gonna share our screen. We have a presentation that's coming up, but I'd like to introduce, Stephen Rayworth. Stephen is the general manager for GFL Environmental Incorporated. I've had the pleasure to work with Stephen over a number of years in different roles, over the years here within the town. So we've known each other for a while. Ever since the sale of the landfill at the Little Forks location, questions from the public have come in as to who is GFL Environmental. In May, during a Cumberland Central Landfill Community Liaison Committee meeting, GFL had offered to meet with various councils to introduce themselves and to explain what they do. Mr. Rayworth kindly accepted Oxford's invitation to present to council and the public and also organized a presentation for us tonight. So I'll now pass this over to Mr. Rayworth to take lead of the presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Queen. So, Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you for inviting me, to introduce to you, GFL. First, a little bit about myself. For those of you who don't know me, again, I am Stephen Rayworth, and I am the former general manager with Cumberland Joint Services Management Authority. And then, of course, when I became the general manager for GFL. I've actually been at the site since 2007. So I do have a little bit of time there, and as Lindy said, we have been together for a couple of years, I guess we won't say that many. But
When I started too, it was 2007.
yeah, so yeah, it's been a good. So who is GFL? GFL was founded by our CEO, Patrick DeVici, in 2007. And for diehard hockey fans, you may recognize the name. He was actually a backup goaltender for the Edmonton Oilers for a while. But he started GFL at about single transport station in Toronto with the overall goal of being a one-stop shop for solid waste services. Today, GFL is the fourth largest, we'll call it environmental company in North America. We look after solids, liquids, and soil remediation. We have offices or locations in all of the provinces in Canada, and I believe 30 states in the US. So it is quite a big company. We have over 20,000 employees. And the overall goal, as I said, is being a one-stop shop for services. We do grow, we have grown quite a bit. In fact, we've been talking about other growth in Atlantic Canada, but it is significantly by acquisition. Here in Atlantic Canada, we have over 500 employees. Believe it or not, when we joined GFL in February 1st of 2022, not that long ago, we only had 150. We now have 500, quite significant. Our regional offices located in Vermont, Nova Scotia. Tim White is the regional vice president. Tim is responsible for 9 hauling sites, and I'm not going to list them, but you can see them there. 5 solid waste sites, one of which, of course, Cumberland is. And I report directly to Chris McDonald, the Director of Landfill Operations and Environmental Compliance for GFL in Atlantic Canada. Moving on to Cumberland specifically, for those of you who may have participated in the CGSMA board or heard about CGSMA, not a lot has changed. We still have a second generation landfill, a composting facility, construction of the demolition landfill. We do have a recycling transfer station, which is in the process of finally being finished. And then the asbestos disposal septic facility, which is new to us, that used to be run strictly by the municipality and the county of Cumberland, and then the leachate treatment facility. As part of the sale, there was a 25-year service agreement between GFL and the municipalities to accept lease. and provide some other services. One of the things that of course is in there, as you may all know, is a annual tipping fee increase on July 1st. And then one of the unique things that has really changed for GFL is of course now, because we're no longer a municipal entity, we do have to, I guess we'll say, interact with the public, and we have to form a community liaison committee. So that replaces the board as elected officials who were considered the community that we would engage with from the solid waste side. But now we have to do that through a community liaison committee. And I wanted to bring that up because we're struggling for members, to be honest. So the board is supposed to be made up of a chair, 4 members of the public at large, and then 1 elected official from each municipal unit. So we have obviously the elected officials. Crystal McNutt represents Oxford. And we do have elected officials, of course, from the county and Amherst. We do have an independent chair who is Don, his name is escaping right now, but I'm sure. Yes, McCormick from NSCC. And we do have 1 other, I guess we'll say, member at large, but we're still missing 3 members. The intent of this is to engage with and communicate with the public and let people know what's going on at the site and how the site is being run. And I really, really encourage people, if you're interested, to contact us. And
What's in it for us?
Yeah.
well, you know what's going on the site. That's, you know, I know, speaking from experience, people get very passionate about solid waste. People get very passionate about what's going on at that site. And if you want to know, that's the place to be.
Keep that in mind.
A lot of people, I will say, when I joined CGSMA back in 2007, I thought it was, quite honestly, going to be boring. Because I thought garbage was just a hole in the ground, and you put some dirt on it and you moved on, but it's very, very far from it. You know, anybody who's been there can speak to the complexity of solid waste, and there's a lot more behind the scenes once your stuff gets picked up or once you drop it off somewhere to see what actually happens with it. It's really quite, believe it or not, fascinating.
Just for anybody watching too, the meetings are super convenient. They're at the community college now. Great location. What is the 4 year?
2 a year unless there's interest.
Right, so only 2 a year, tons of parking, great location, and yeah.
Coffee, cookies,
Right, there's cookies, there's coffee, yeah, exactly, so, yeah.
tea, if that's the preference.
Like I remember one of the CGSMA, they went to different municipalities and always had a nice lunch.
So again, I will say it is interesting.
Cool.
It's hard to believe, but it is. Yeah. So moving on to the site specifically, again, so we do have a 2nd generation landfill, and to speak to you know, what I just mentioned, thinking that it was just a hole in the ground, it really isn't. It's an engineered system that has a lot of built-in environmental protection. I've seen a cell built, and I call it a garbage bag in the ground now, that's not the right term, but that garbage bag liner is 3.5 meters thick. That's built on the bottom, and then as we close, goes up around and covers up the top. So it is, there is quite a high degree of environmental protection around that. The compost facility, that's a place where we take organics, we shred them, and we let Mother Nature do its thing. We speed it up a little bit by turning the piles and introducing air and shredding and a few other things. But that's just a natural process. And then of course we turn what comes to us into compost. Construction and demolition landfill, that's where construction related materials go. And in other words, things that were attached to your house. So, believe it or not, so this carpet, or sorry, this rug that is not attached would be garbage, but if it was carpet that's attached, it would be C&D. And the whole logic in there is there's a little bit less environmental protection into the cell. So in other words, it costs less. But the intent is, or the idea is that that material has been sitting for a long time, in your house or wherever, and any, all the bad stuff is already gone. Although I will note, there are, in July 5th, 2023, there was new regulations introduced by the Department of Environment, that is, I'm gonna say, shaking up C&D a little bit. A waste or recycling transfer station. As I said, this is just, we're just in the process of finishing construction of this facility. So this is where recycling comes in small trucks. We put it in a big truck and send it off for processing. Right now, we're sending material to Cape Breton or to PEI or Moncton sometimes, wherever is the most convenient and easiest. We do have an asbestos disposal site, just as we did with CGSMA. And again, a septic facility, so that's for households with septic tanks or businesses with septic tanks, mostly out in the county. That's again, something that's always been there. CGSMA didn't operate it, but we as GFL now do. So that's been a little bit of a learning curve. And then the leachate treatment facility, that is treating the liquid that flows to the garbage and then is caught or captured in that environmental containment system, pumped into that facility and treated. And it is just, it's a wastewater treatment facility, just like what you have. You know, we have lift stations, underground pipes, pumps, all of that stuff, just like a municipality is. So again, there is one too.
It's a lot.
That was quick. I didn't know how much you did want, or, and I know
That's
these
great.
meetings can be, based on past history, these meetings can be boring, I guess. People want to know, especially at Christmas time. So I'll open up to questions. One.
You take Rory?
I found it interesting, I'll say that much, yeah, it's informative. You met with Lynn and I earlier, discussed. I think we should go over the contamination part of the recyclables, maybe we've got a live audience, if you want to cover that,
Dual stream.
Well, I mean, I think that might be up to your municipal educator, but I will say that we are experiencing a lot of contaminated recycling coming into the site. And when we send it to our processors for processing, of course, they don't want it. So that is a challenge, and contamination can take many forms. So that's the difficult part. In two-stream recycling, if there's a bottle in there, it's plastic, it's recyclable. But if there's a bottle in the fiber bag, that is contamination. So that's where the difficulty, I guess we'll say, comes in. And
I don't think people realize that. I think some people, hopefully
Yes.
most people are trying. So they have their
Absolutely.
big thing of cardboard and they're just about to take it to our transfer station. And someone says, oh, just 1 second, I just have a bottle of whatever. And you throw that in the cardboard and that's literally garbage now.
Yeah.
And it's a sin because they did what they were supposed to do. They tore them down, they put them all nice and neat, and you throw one plastic in and
Yeah.
it's garbage.
so those, if you can envision a recycling facility, we'll use this chamber as a facility. There'll be one line that will handle fiber material only,
Yeah.
and then there'll be one line that will handle plastic material or containers only. So anything that this line is not set up to handle,
no,
it's garbage.
Was
Or,
it always like that? This is new, like
So-
in the last. Like the dual streams, and I remember growing
yeah,
up.
speaking back to CGSMA time, we were the only location in Nova Scotia that was single stream. And we had a MRF for a material recycling facility that was processing the material here locally. And then in September 2017, that MRF burned out. So we've been sending material out since, and as I said, all our facilities are dual stream.
I have a question for you, and it might not be very helpful, but why are some municipalities, why can some use blue bags and some can't? Some can use black bags, and there's some,
Great.
there's some places that can't even use, where was I? I was somewhere and they can't use the plastic or not plastic, but the compost bags that are plastic like, they can only use paper. Why is it different if it's all kind of in the same group?
So,
Does that make sense? And
He agrees with everything you said.
like,
so I'm going back to my CGSNA days.
cause it's a money grab, I'm just saying.
Well, actually, so if you look at the solid waste regulations, the province makes the regulation. And then it empowers or charters the municipalities with actually coming up with programs. So it's different because there's 49 different municipalities making decisions.
And it shouldn't be that way. It should be a provincial one. So in the last meeting that we had, there were counselors there, say from the Pugwash area. And one of the problems they're having are Halifax people have cottages there. So they come to Pugwash and they do their Halifax, and they do a great job of what they do in Halifax. But now they're doing it in Pugwash and it doesn't fly in Pugwash.
Right, cause it's black bags there still.
They do, yeah.
And to be clear, I wanna say again, that's going by memory from my CGSNA time, and that's not a GFL
No,
statement.
I was just wondering, cause in Colchester you can use blue bags, but here you can't, but they're still sold here, so it's just.
You can use blue bags here.
Well, we were always told, well, I was always told that you couldn't. What about green bags?
Green tinted bags.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
As long as you can see in the bag. I
I'm
think it's-
enjoying this committee. This is very interesting.
I'm out.
Do you like to hear your pop?
Careful what you wish for, girl.
I have a question, Steve.
Sure.
Why would one bottle contaminate a whole pile of cardboard?
So the problem is not just one bottle. One bottle is fine. The problem is the contamination, is up to 65%.
Oh, so you,
So
well,
it's not just one bottle.
originally when one bottle was mentioned, I thought, why would one little bottle contaminate a whole bag of, or whatever? And
But to go back to that though.
Yeah.
It is possible. So if that one bag or one bottle, sorry, has liquid in it.
Yeah.
And it gets on the paper, then. So, I mean, that's an extreme case,
Yeah.
full disclosure, but that can happen.
But it's confusing for a lot of people because the rules change. So you just get used to the set of rules and then all of a
Well,
sudden they change.
I'm not gonna.
But I think Brenda is working on that. What's her title?
Solid waste educator.
Solid waste educator. So she's gonna work with us and we'll get
Getting some
more
messaging.
information and there's some education, yeah.
Straightforward question. Now your cardboard, you got one bottle contaminates that bundle of cardboard. What about the packing tape? It's plastic. Most boxes, my wife, when she bundles up her recyclable cardboard, wraps it up with the packing tape, which is plastic. Does that not contaminate it?
She wraps it up in plastic?
Ties her up around, she'll do her bundle and then wrap it up with this dollar store packing tape.
Gonna be wrapping it up in plastic?
Every box you get from here is sealed with plastic.
Yeah.
That's why
When
I'm
you break it
asking.
down, you can pull the tape off.
Well, you pick
I
them
did
up.
it for years at the pharmacy.
We can talk about this.
No, but I'm just asking.
But yes, actually, that is.
How that doesn't contaminate the cardboard itself, because that's what we use. And it's just straightforward question.
So
Thank
maybe
you.
they're not recycling that, the plastic stuff, maybe they're just chopping it.
Well, teams.
Like Steven said, we could discuss this forever.
Yeah.
That's what somebody has.
Well, it's not, in fairness, it's not my role.
Yes, understood.
Great. That was great. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Stephen, for your report, very informative.
And again, you know what, feel free to reach out anytime, if you want more detail, I mean, I can talk for an hour just about the landfill, and the environmental protection there, or recycling or composting or anything, so. No, I can worry you to death. So feel free anytime, any issues come up, you know where we are, and we're here to work with the municipalities and the public, and go ahead, take the call.
Well, thank you. The biggest thing the public was asking, who is GFL and what did they do? So you covered that. So thank you very much.
No problem, anytime. Thank you very much. Happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Safe travels.
I'll find out the time to go this time.
Now I'd like to move on to 2.4, the approval of the minutes, November 8th, 2023. Hearing no errors or omissions, I declare the minutes as read. I'd like to move on to 5.1, Public Works Department. Nick Purdy.
Thank you. The Public Works Committee completed the following tasks for the month of November. Equipment service by brand tractor. Resurfaced 2 sections of sidewalk, Christmas float with grade, grease fire hydrants in town, water break on Waverly. Repaired a water leak on Foundry Street. We also painted a new crosswalk on Water Street, along with new signs, maintenance of the sidewalk due to the bridge being closed down, and winter maintenance on salt.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the report, Nick. I'd like to move on to 5.2, Fire Department, presented by Bruce Rushton.
First thing I'd like to say is I'm pleased to announce that Kyle Purdy is continuing with the deputy chief's position for another 2 years. So that'll be great for us. The fire department responded to 12 calls in November. This is going to put us well over 145 to date for the year. We had 4 motor vehicle accidents, 3 medical related calls, 3 structure fires. Structure fire related calls, all for mutual aid assistance outside of our district. 1 woods or brush fire and 1 fire. So 3 of these calls were in town, 6 were in our coverage area, and 3 were mutual aid to our neighboring departments. We have 3 members continuing with their level 1 training, which is mostly held in Pugwash for an entire weekend. Usually once, maybe twice a month, depending on your schedule. Our bumper trucks have had their pump testing completed in the last month. I'd like to congratulate the town on a great parade. Christmas parade, that was wonderful. We had all of our trucks and some personnel attend, and along with our neighboring departments sending trucks down, so that was nice. I recently attended the Pugwash Fire Department's banquet and awards night, and I'd like to congratulate their members on the much well-deserved, I should say, awards. Long service, like 50 years awards. Our generator installation is now complete. We're just waiting for the commissioning, which we done today, will happen in January. January 2nd or 3rd, I believe, so. The department, I should say the association, Department Association, recently ordered $17,000 worth of PPE for our members, helmets and bunker gear. All through fundraising efforts, and mostly through the firefighters 50/50 drawing. So that's a huge help. Just want to remind residents of the town of Oxford that if you're planning to have an outside fire, there is a burning bylaw, and it is to be, if you are having a fire, it is to be an approved appliance, not just an open fire of any size. Thank you.
Question, Bruce?
Yes.
I mentioned you've had 145 calls so far this year.
Yeah, we've exceeded that. That was at the time of my report. We
Okay.
had 6 calls this week already.
So what's average for a year? Do you know off the top of your head or ballpark it?
86, 90 in that area.
Wow. Yeah, well, you're doing good ones.
Wow.
Thank you.
6 this week.
Well, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the council for your report first.
Thank you.
I'd like to move on to 4.3, the municipal physical activity report. Presented by Jimmy Ward.
It's gonna be me.
Oh.
It just changed.
Back to the Christmas parade, we've had our largest parade since I started helping out with it 3 years ago. It was over 35 entries. I want to thank the Public Works. They did an awesome job on the floats and the lights and everything around town. Great turnout at the arena to see Santa. It was so much fun. And then, yeah, thanks to everyone who helped, all the participants, and, yeah, we'll do our all again next year. Thanks to the Masonic Lodge too, if anybody had the opportunity, they were over at the gazebo and they gave out free hot chocolate and hot dogs, so that was great of them. Upcoming events, we have the Grinch at the theater, Sunday, December 17th from 6 to 7, the cost is $7, all kids must be accompanied. All kids must be accompanied by kids 3 and under. I don't think that's right. All kids must be accompanied by an adult. Kids 3 and under get in for free, I think is what that's saying. There's also, Jimmy's doing a Christmas craft in the War Room at the arena on Tuesday, December 19th from 3:15 to 4:15, so basically after school. Make some Christmas cards and free ornaments, and it's free for all ages. Free skating at the arena, every Tuesday and Thursday after school, 3:30 to 5:30. On Thursdays, the rec team will be there to help people get ready and to organize some on-ice games. Basketball and pickleball is still happening at the school every Monday. We don't have it now until January 8th because of Christmas concert and the school being closed. But we'll start back on January 8th from 8 to 9, $2 drop-in fee. There's still the community game night at the Nazarene Church every last Friday at 6:30. Bring your favorite game and snacks. The walking group is still at it. Meet the gazebo on Monday mornings at 11, Wednesdays at 6. It's just a gentle 30 to 45-minute walk, and it's free. And we're always looking for volunteers. So if anybody wants to help out in any way, anything that they can think of, if you ever thought, why doesn't this town have a, get a hold of us, and we will help you, get that.
You become the newest volunteer.
You can become the newest volunteer.
Question, Counselor, was there a state exchange done this year? Someone asked.
We haven't done that before. It's the Arena Association, and I
Okay.
think they did it, but I don't know when.
Okay.
I did talk to someone on the Arena Association and to Jimmy, and we thought we might try and do one next spring and do like everything, like soccer, cleats, baseball, gloves, and skates and whatever. So, yeah, we might do that again. But no, the arena did have a skating thing.
Thank you, President, for your report. I'd like to move on to 5.4, administration report, presented by Linda Lowe.
Okay, thank you. So our staff have attended the mental wellness AMA next session that was held in Spring Hill. Also, a couple of our members attended the taxable versus exempt supplies for the municipalities as well. The second quarter of water bills have been sent out. And also we had a meeting with the EMO, Steve Wood, our Regional Emergency Management Coordinator, to discuss comfort centers, generators, also future meetings, because I believe Councillor Colburn's on this as well, to organize a committee meeting since it's been, since Mike, I think, since we've had a meeting on that. So that's to come. Anyways, we had great chats on that. They're currently working on a plan on a water flood for all of Nova Scotia. So I identified our areas here in Oxford and put those on the map. So there's some studies being done on the flooding in various areas in Nova Scotia. Also attended the NSFM conference last month. There's lots of great networking, learning of various roles of different departments. Policing was a hot topic up there. There's the discussion of the GDPRM, the provincial wide GDPRM going on. And there's other members, like speaking with the mayor of Toronto, who's there since 2003 to 2010, sharing their stories of successes and woes. And so it was really great, great session there. So other than that, that's our admin report.
Well, thank you, Linda, for your report. At this time, I'd like to thank all the departments for their respective reports. I'd like to move on to 6, on the council committee and board report presented by Linda Cloney.
Thank you. So this is, we have a verbal report here tonight. So the Accessibility Committee has officially started the process of doing the report card on the town-owned properties and facilities last month. Our own chair of the committee, Joe McDonald, has been selected to take part in the trainer sessions, which is hosted by the Nova Scotia Accessibility Victoria Accessibility Foundations. So it was a great honor that she gets to be part of that. The Accessibility Committee also assisted with town staff with input and information sharing in regards to the closure of the Water Street Bridge, the walking side. They assisted to assist us making it more accessible to the public. So I personally want to thank them for their efforts. There was a few phone calls and emails back and forth to research how we can make that more accessible. The Accessibility Committee will be meeting tomorrow night, which is Thursday at 6 p.m. It's going to be here in council chambers. So I'm putting a plug in like we're doing with all the other volunteers. We need volunteers. We welcome anyone to come join us. We are now out of building the plan. The accessibility plan for the town has been accepted. We're now getting to work and we need more people to assist. So come join us in Oxford to help us to make it more accessible so everyone can enjoy all the things that Oxford has to offer.
Oh, thank you again, Linda.
Okay.
Is that your accessibility advisory committee report?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to 6.2, All Saints Community Health Care Foundation.
Okay, so thank you. This is another committee that we need a volunteer for. They need to be a town resident, so they need to reside within the town boundaries, but we do need a town representation on this All Saints Community Health Care Foundation. I have attached the approved minutes from our last meeting in the package so people can see, but items that we discussed, there's equipment requests, so we were able to purchase 2 bikes for the rehab department, totaling $5,700, and a wound care cart for the emergency ambulatory care department, totaling $5,000 as well. And also they're modernizing their bylaws as well, but it's a great meeting. It's up in Spring Hill at the hospital. This happens every other month, and it's through the day. I think Councillor Black was on it before, so it is a good little group, and we just need 1 member from Oxford to attend. So right now we're doing it as staff, but it would be nice to have a community member take part in that.
Very interesting.
It really is. It's a fun, feel-good group.
Yes.
Yes.
How often are those meetings held, you said?
Once every 2 months, and it's through the day.
Every 2 months?
Every 2 months.
And this says here, the next meeting's at 9:30, like November 14th, 9:30 a.m. So they're obviously early morning.
Yeah, the early morning, so the next one will be in January, but these are the approved minutes that they approved at the last meetings. But I wanted to give a little taste, and in case anyone's interested.
How long do they usually last?
An hour and a half at most.
But they're not in a rush, they're gonna have it set for.
Yeah, at most I've seen an hour and a half, but usually they try to keep it within an hour.
Thank you.
You'd like to move on, Linda, to 6.3?
Yes, so, we have the report and I added a few things to it as well. So, report was, sent in to us by the chief librarian, Denise Corey. She wanted to note that rapid tests are still available. COVID-19 tests are available at your local libraries. The library is hoping to engage in some fundraising activities in 2024 as an attempt to offset some of their impending deficit. The library will be looking for volunteers to help implement those fundraising activities. So if you are interested in volunteering, can't put a plug in there big enough for volunteering, please reach out to your local library or contact us here at the town hall. We can get you in direction of that as well. In the month of September, the library signed out over 12,000 items, 22 items in the Oxford Library alone out of that 12,000. This includes books, movies, TV shows, magazines, ebooks, and more. Also in September, the Oxford Library offered 3 different in-person programs with 57 people in attendance.
That's good.
So the Oxford Library had 336 visits in person here in Oxford, isn't it? So, to note, I just wanted to add, this wasn't on the report, but recently the library was closed due to a maintenance issue. It's now back open. The maintenance issue was a clogged sink, so it wasn't a huge issue. It was just, they had to close it for that day. The building owners were very attentive and was successful in repairing the sink. So it's now back open. Just wanted to put that out there to the public in case, some old messaging may be there. Also, new hours are anticipated in 2024. These will be posted on our website and Facebook when they take effect.
Yes. And they're gonna be less, are they?
Yes, everywhere due to funding.
Right.
That's why we're trying to cut back everywhere else so that we don't have to cut too many hours.
Right.
There will be some cuts. I think Denise may be here to talk about it.
I think she's coming to our January committee of the whole meeting as a presentation.
All right, Linda, I'd like to move on to 6.4, solid waste management report.
Thank you. So this here, we talked a bit about it already with the presentation that we had, but I'll just go into this. So this is about the Cumberland Region Solid Waste Management Liaison Committee. Sorry, no, this is a
No.
solid waste report. Okay,
Yeah.
that's coming down 6.6. Okay, backing up. Okay, so this is a Cumberland Region Solid Waste Management Report, which our solid waste educator sits on this committee as well. This is her report to the committee of the whole. Brenda Ryu is her name. So she mentioned that there's been a lot of discussion from the regional meetings regarding sharps. That some municipalities are seeing a shortage of containers available at pharmacies, and facilities are seeing the materials coming across the recycling sort, which is an issue. Due to recent audit results at the Cumberland Central Recycling Facility, which Steve was part of, staff are currently working on an education campaign to promote dual stream recycling to try to reduce the level of contamination in recycling bags. So you're gonna see more education pieces coming out here in the next little while regarding that. So this report is attached in the council package for committee of the whole, but that was the report presented by our solid waste educator.
I have a question, for Olivia. When you worked at the pharmacy, was the sharp containers an issue for our pharmacy?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a problem, so I
Should I thought?
my advice for anybody looking to get rid of sharps and they don't have a container, just keep them at home
Yeah.
in a safe spot. I've
Until you
seen-
get a container. So what they're saying is like, people, and God love them, they think they're doing a good thing, but like the big orange, like coffee, those plastic tubs, they'll take those and fill them. But
Yeah,
the person at the recycling place doesn't know they're completely full of sharps, so just keep them.
yes, keep them. And pharmacies won't accept any sharps until they're in a container,
Right.
an actual sharps container. You can't bring them in an ice cream bucket or a Folgers can or
Right.
anything like that until, but yeah, just hold on with them.
So you get a container at the pharmacy?
If they're available, yeah. They're just short, it's just, I mean.
Just right now, so they're just holding on to them now till they can get.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Because I know someone who sits on, because I sit on this committee too,
Yeah.
and someone who sits on this committee, her son is diabetic. And she said they have boxes of them, just waiting, so the second they get a sharp container, it's completely full.
Yeah.
And they take it and try and get another one, and, yeah.
All right,
All right, Linda,
okay.
would like for you to move on to 6.5, police advisory board report.
Yes, we had a committee meeting recently. And so you'll note that on, in our package, on our website and everywhere, we have an RCMP report. So we wanted to note, and they're gonna put this in the report for the next time, is that on these reports, the numbers that reflect on here are the types of calls that they receive to open, to act on. These are not numbers that have been charged. So these are not charged, issues. They are being investigated or opened up as that's the claim, when the phone call was just made. So we just wanted to point that out, that these are not actual charges, with those numbers. There's a little bit of confusion with that. So in this report, which is quite interesting, they do talk about different scenarios that happened here in Oxford. There's talks regarding the protest, some mischief, off-road vehicle act issues, 911 call, two of them that were done. So there's description in that. Also, a good note is the province has given Cumberland a position which allows them to have another member without cost to the town of Oxford or the county. This position is currently with staffing, so it's another member without cost to us. So anyways, this report is in our council package, but it's also put on the website as we do our quarterly meetings.
All right, Linda, would you like to move on to the 26? Government Center Landfill Community Liaison Committee Report.
Okay, thank you. So this is the one Steve actually works on as well, and we were just talking about, so attached in the council package was the approved minutes back in May. They were approved at the most recent liaison committee meeting that happened on November 22nd, which Councillor McNutt was in attendance. I noted we had a conversation, Councillor McNutt and I met and talked there regarding that. There's a lot of discussion regarding the contamination of different, that was the big topic there, but that audit that was done. And that the new chair is in place, which is Don McCormick. He's the principal of the Nova Scotia Community College. He was elected as chair of the committee, and all future committee meetings will be held at the NSCC in Amherst. So, and I hear it's, sounds like a good time, so. That's it.
Well, I'd like to thank you for all the committee reports, and I'd like to move on to 7, item of discussion correspondence, presented by Linda Close.
In which we have none to present.
No.
No.
Adjournment, I asked if there's any further business to discuss, hearing none. I declare this meeting closed. At this time, and now we'll turn the chair over to Mayor Henley to conduct the council meeting.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor McDonald. Okay. Well, welcome to the regular council meeting of the Oxford Town Council for Wednesday, December 13th. Welcome, call the meeting to order. First up, we've got a revised agenda. I need someone to make a motion to accept that revised agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councillor McNutt, seconded by Councillor Jones. Any questions? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Motion carried. We've all got a copy of the previous minutes from the previous council meeting. Any errors or omissions? Then I will declare them approved as read. And we'll move on to new business of 4.1, development of watercad model. Recommendations from Public Works Committee, Linda presenting.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. So, watercad study. This was a recommendation because we've had some development down towards Pugwash Road. And it has been identified as an area of probable failure, identified on our asset management plan. So we did do an attempt to hook into the water. We had some issues, and speaking with engineering, Devon Consulting, they had recommended to do this watercad study. With the watercad study, there's a site survey of the water storage tanks in Pugwash Road, plus a hydrant flow and meter tests as well. And with that, so to understand where development is possible and if development is set for a certain location, it will help to identify what upgrades to current systems would be required. So we have presented this to the Public Works Committee, because our goal is to provide adequate services to all current homeowners as well as future homeowners. And we need to identify areas of concern or strength as well within all of town with our water services. So with the watercad study, we did get a proposal coming in from Dylan Consulting. And let's see here. Second. And I think I'm ready to pass this on for the recommendation of Public Works, because in the motion it says the cost and the details.
Okay. I'll call on Councillor Jones to read the recommendation from Public Works.
The Public Works Committee met and recommends to Oxford Town Council accept the Dillon Consulting proposal with an estimated cost of $34,800 plus taxes to come out of the Water Capital Reserve for the development of the water CAD model for the town, as presented, and also for the town of Oxford to not authorize any future development until this study is done and completed.
Okay.
I'd like to make that as a motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, questions, comments?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Councillor Coburn.
I understand that this study has to be done in order to obtain funding for future water projects, is that correct?
It will assist, it doesn't have to be done to obtain, but it will assist in granting, future, to be awarded future, grants for 50-cent dollars.
So I'm confused. You just said it doesn't have to be done, but if we don't do it, then we may not get funding for future projects, is that what you're
We
saying?
may not be approved for future projects without a study like this. It takes studies like this to be awarded grants.
Okay.
Proves that you've done due diligence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Research has been done. That's
Thank you.
correct.
Yeah,
Very well.
Mary, you had a question?
Well, I sort of got a little ahead. I was gonna ask, you said they had attempted to connect to what?
It's,
What?
it's to connect water at some future development
So
down on
it's
Fourth
water
Street.
in the sewer?
It's water.
Water.
Yes.
It's water, so the water line's not large enough?
There was an issue in connecting, maybe you might chime in, Nick, to assist on that.
We tried to tie into the galvanized line on Fourth Street. Once the tie-in was made and the water was turned back on, there was no flow. So the line should have been capped off years ago when it was imported, or there's not enough flow over on that line to add this flows out.
Well, that's all I was asking, you said.
Okay,
It moved on the attempt, but attempted what?
Mhm,
Thank you.
absolutely. No,
okay,
it's clear.
any other questions?
I just have a question.
Go ahead.
Is Ruth Ann okay with it? 34,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand, say aye. Aye, contrary minded, motion carried. Thank you. Next up, Water Bridge, or Water Street Walking Bridge closure, an update from our intrepid CAO.
Thank you, Your Worship. So as everyone well knows here in Oxford now, hopefully that the Water Street Walking Bridge closure is in effect. So end of day on November 21st, to give you a bit of background, the town staff received notice from the Bridge Commission of the province to close the sidewalk due to safety reasons on the right-hand side coming into the town for repairs. The town staff had to act quickly to make the other side of the bridge more accessible, as we noted that there's a large lips and cracked sidewalks, no crosswalk. Because we're asking people to cross the street and walk across the other side of the bridge or whatever, however you get across. The work had been done from our Public Works team. Our accessibility committee was involved, and also we had to hire outside contractors, and everybody moved very swiftly and promptly. We've contacted the office for, the province for a timeline as to when the work on the closed walkway on Water Street will be completed. As of now, there is no set timeline, but they advised us that it will be out for a fair bit of time. Staff will continue with the dialogue with the province and update council and the public as we learn more.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Linda regarding the Water Street Bridge?
Do we have crosswalk signs over there?
Yes,
Yes.
and a crosswalk, but although the traffic's pretty well got beat off now, it's.
No, not the crosswalk itself, but the signs.
The
Yeah,
signs
yeah,
are-
there's signs on.
Signs are haven't seen it, but the crosswalk itself.
Yeah, we painted it on when it's cold, so it's kind of realistic with
It's
ground.
supposed to be warm on Monday.
Paint it last
Yeah.
anyway, since they went to oil based.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and it works well, I walk on it every morning.
we're gonna move on if we can. Sewer service connection fees information, Linda Coleman.
Thank you. So this is a discovery. We had to do a deep dive into our development regarding sewer connection fees. We had to go into our sewer bylaw. So while we were researching the bylaw, we discovered in the bylaw that there's a sewer connection fee that had not been applied to property developments. So it does state all properties shall be classified and shall pay the annual rates and charges set forth as follows. For each new service connection, the actual cost of the installation or a minimum charge of $200, whichever is greater. That was at the time of that bylaw. Since then, it had been amended, and the current fee of the connection is now $325 from the $200. A memo went out to all current developers that we are known of, as well as the development office and all council regarding this, and that as of November 27th, 2023, town staff will apply the current sewer connection fee with a minimum of $325 or the cost of installation, whichever is higher, to all new sewer connections. So we wanted to make it known where we had a public meeting tonight that this is out there, and it's definitely, we're not the only ones, it's all the neighboring towns do this as well, so it's within our bylaw.
Any questions for Linda regarding that? Okay, we'll move on to the anecdote proposal.
Okay, so this is actually quite interesting. It was a proposal that came about. It's an app for your phone. And a lot of this is done in the Quebec area right now. They're trying to bring it into our side of the province, down here in Nova Scotia. And what it is, because of smartphones now, they call it anecdote, lets you learn about your surroundings in real time through audio format. So as you're walking along or driving along and you're in an area that happens to have an anecdote spot, it writes up your phone and tells you a little bit about its history, or it could be about the shop, or, you know, it could be about a trail, local trail to go check out the bunny trail. Anyways, it was quite an interesting presentation. If this is something that council's interested in, we could look into it at another time. They would do a presentation to council itself. Looked at the cost to start to do a setup and everything. They gave us a quote of, see here, we have $3,200 plus taxes, and then a fee of $480 would be your fee to keep it up to date. So I just wanted to let you know this present proposal is here, and it's up to council if they want us to look into it further or anything, or just let it sit for
Do
now.
we have a consensus as to letting it slide for now? I'm looking at people's
Say let it
faces
slide.
and I'm seeing the look
A lot
of
of
what
places,
is slide.
$3,200 can go.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you, Linda. Let's move on. Town hall roof quote, Linda Coney presenting.
Thank you. So, as you know, from past discussions, the town hall's roof is in much need of repair. It's leaking within the building, even in council chambers and around, so it's affecting our structure here in the town hall, and it's a health and safety issue as well. So at budget time, council approved in the capital budget to get this work done at a cost, their budgeted number was $60,000. So we had reached out, and at first we were looking at flat roofs, and then it was discussed to look into a pitch roof. So doing all that research and the fact that it's urgent that we do get this repair done, staff recommends that we award Alex Crowley the project, as he's a local and he's also examined this building closely and understands the necessary repairs that are required. So he gave us a quote and to supply and install a complete roof system for the Oxford Town Hall at the quoted price of $41,500 plus taxes. So looking to see if we could get a motion to start discussion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, just for clarity's sake, this is a steel roof we're talking.
Peaked, isn't it?
It's a peaked roof.
Steel roof.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
single.
truss and steel roofing to
Okay.
town hall,
Okay, we've
yes.
got a motion on the
I
floor.
like to second it.
Okay, we've got a motion, we've got a seconder. Any questions or comments regarding this? Go ahead, Councilor Moore.
Did we not discuss this before?
Not in council, we put money aside, but we've got to have a motion to accept.
Understand.
And to award it to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we had discussed this before. Decided.
I think a lot of the research she probably been part of, yes, yeah.
And it talks about safety as well.
Yes, and that was discussed in the press.
Right.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, right?
Yes, it
It's
was.
a really tall building in the middle of town.
Yes.
okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any other questions or comments before we go to a vote? Okay, all those in favor of the motion made by Councilor Jones, please raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Replacement of water utilities Foundry Street. Linda,
Okay.
I haven't heard from you all night.
Okay, so kind of exciting. So this is a replacement of water utility on Foundry Street. Dillon Consulting Limited was awarded the project to design our engineering and design plans for Foundry Street. And recently, within the last couple of weeks, municipal capital growth program came out, which for municipalities to utilize to cover up to 50% of costs of projects like this. So we're looking to enter this application for 50% of the costs for replacing water utilities on Foundry Street. Here, the
50%
cost,
of the cost of the engineering or 50% of the cost of the actual project?
actual project.
Wow.
This is for the actual project. So when they put the numbers together, and this was at 50% done, the design plans were done at 50%. They expect 99% of this to be done soon. They will do a presentation to council still, okay? So Dylan's gonna be doing a presentation to council here yet. So this is just at the 50%, but we need to apply now. The deadline is right away and for this, or we're gonna lose this funding opportunity at 50%. So the total cost that came in was $2,160,054.30. That's with taxes. These, of course, is estimated costs. We did have a meeting with Public Works today to discuss this, and if I could pass that on to Councilor Jones to read off a recommendation from.
Thank you. Public Works Committee met as Linda discussed and recommends that the Oxford Town Council support the application to the Municipal Capital Growth Program for 50% of the project costs for the replacement of water utilities on Foundry Street. The total estimated cost of this project is $2,160,054.30. I'd like to make that as a motion.
Do you have a seconder? Okay, moved by Councilor Jones and seconded by Councilor Black. I will open the floor for questions or discussions. Go ahead, Councilor Colmer.
From our meeting this afternoon, my understanding is that it's going to totally depend on final cost of the project, whether it goes forward or not.
That's correct.
That's right. Yeah.
So the taxpayers realize.
Yes.
Yeah, we will get bids, and if they come in at a lot more money, then we'll have to be scrapped, right? In order to get this funding, we had to react today.
Right, yeah.
The motion is to ask for funding. The motion is not to say that we approve Dylan to do this job.
Well, Dylan doesn't do the job. They.
For someone to do.
Yes, no, they still have to put in a bid
Right.
Yeah.
when we send the tender.
Supports the
Go
application.
ahead,
This-
Councilman, Deputy
Okay.
Mayor Tom.
You come up with the $2,100,000 for it. Now, let's say you made a motion that we accept this report and apply for this funding. So just want to make it plain, not necessarily, we apply for it, they grant it to us. We don't get it till the project started, am I right?
It would be awarded first.
Okay, if we're awarded it, but let's say Dylan come in at 3 million. Okay,
We don't.
then we say, no, we're not carrying on with it, and we don't get that money that we applied for. That's all I wanted to
Yes.
make it plain that we have a chance that we can back out of.
Oh, absolutely. All this is approving the application for the funding.
Okay,
That's all this is.
Yeah.
so it is application for the fund.
That's what.
Just for clarity's
Yeah.
sake, when we get the funding, there will be a tender put out to do this work. The various companies will put in their bids.
The way Linda explained it to us at the Public Works meeting this morning is if we don't apply for it now,
We can't
we
get
can't get it.
No, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if we get awarded it, and then we get the bids in, just make it plain, everybody knows, the residents. It's not saying that this is a go forward,
Absolutely.
it's saying that we gotta make application for this money. And then once we get tenders, if it's above what we're expecting, that we don't take the money. You don't have to, we're not committed.
Exactly.
That's,
Question about the actual job though, were we surprised by that dollar value?
Oh, we were shocked. Yeah.
Just making sure I didn't miss that meeting.
I think we have to recognize that this is the new norm
Right,
and start getting prepared with reserves
right.
in place because I mean, we've got a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
And if we don't start with year 1, we'll never get to year
Yeah.
5.
so
So,
never be able to raise the funds.
yeah.
No,
Anyway, you've got a motion on the floor.
motion on the floor. Any other questions or comments? Gonna call for a vote. All those in favor of the motion made by Councillor Jones, please raise a hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Thank you. Last up. Next up.
Motion.
Purchase of a one-ton truck with box 4.7. Linda's gonna present the background and off we go.
And the mic tag for help here with the, for public works supervisor as well. Okay, we had a public works meeting today and, so we have this truck that is our dump truck, our salt truck and plow. And so it does 3 functions and, recently we've done some repair, and it will be back in operation here on Friday. We've gotten this repaired together and we believe everything is up to date. There should be no other issues if all goes well. But we have a backup plan that's costly when we contract out for salting. And we recognize that and we had discussed some options and we had our manager, finance present as well, so we worked with her on this as well. And the staff is recommending to buy a 1-ton truck to provide salting service and other efficient services for street maintenance. But how do I say this? I'm gonna let you chime in there, Nick, because I'm losing my words.
So efficiency is a big part of salting. So currently right now, our dump truck and salt truck are the same unit. So for instance, if we do a water break through the day, we have to take the salter off, do our water break. After the water break is completed, we need to clean up the truck, chip all the rock and ice away that's there, then add the salter back on. So after a 12 or 14-hour water break, you're open for 1.5 hours to do all of this stuff and rewire it. And the truck itself is not dependable now. So based on contract and note, and the contractor would need an hour's notice. So for example, this morning, he was out doing his own contracts, so we had to wait to get our street salted till we finish that. So that's why we're looking for a backup.
So the other thing this will enable us to do is to take that dump truck and perhaps recondition it next year and you know, extend its life for another 10 years and use it as a dump truck only. And to replace a dump truck, you're looking at $500,000, or what are you looking at? Not $500,000,
It's $200,000.
$200,000. So, I mean, I think it's good business to do that.
Well, that being said, Public Works did meet and they did have a recommendation put together.
So you want me to-
And
So as Linda says, we met today and Public Works Committee recommends that the Oxford Town Council support the purchase of a 2024 Super Duty F-350 from Steel Ford Lincoln in the amount of $65,164.20 plus taxes to come from capital reserves to provide the service of efficient street maintenance.
Okay, seconder,
Is this
I'll second.
okay. Got a motion on the floor, now we'll call for questions.
a four-wheel drive truck?
No, two-wheel
Two-wheel drive.
And it'll be only used for salting, so we should get some life out of it.
Not going off road.
Yeah.
No, the reason it's.
Yeah.
It's winter time, it's on the road, you're going with
We
two.
will have a way to solve that.
That's why I was getting at the point, not off-road.
Yeah, okay. Anything, any other questions? Go ahead,
I just
Councilor.
want to kind of add to what Councillor Jones said, so the public realizes that we're not, it looks like we're spending money indiscriminately here. And see, Councillor Jones said, it's gonna save the big truck for many more years. I mean,
Yeah.
using it the way it is, the life of it could be not very long.
Yes.
It should extend it a long time, once we get the truck.
We can save us money,
Painted next year.
save us money down the road, a lot of money.
And
Oh, a
why?
lot, and efficiency as well, when you have water breaks, we used to be able to use the huff or whatever, the bucket of the huff to take a load of gravel.
Not a lot of today, we're not much travel in the hot bucket, that is from compliance, so we've got 2 warnings for that already, so to be more efficient on call, and so on.
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor. Any other questions or comments? If somebody's hungry. Okay, call for a vote. All those in favor of the motion made by Councilor Jones, please raise your hand, and say aye. Motion carried. Thank you, everybody. Okay, that's that. Next up, correspondence. Linda is presenting something. Go ahead.
Thank you. As I mentioned earlier, tonight, attended the NSFM conference, that happened here in November, which is a really great conference, that all municipalities, mayors and councilors take part in, which is really great workplace to network and talk about issues for municipalities. And a lot of us are in the same boats, but a lot of us are very unique in different ways. And so it was quite interesting. Needless to say, they sent out a report saying there's a newly elected board of directors. This is inside the council package, but I wanted to note, so for our area here is Councillor Andy Thompson. He has been awarded as a regional representative for NSFM, so he'll be the communicator between the two organizations and anytime. So I'll be reaching out to him as well, representing AMANS, which I'm a part of because of administration. John McKinnon from CBRM is also another liaison. So we have some good connections here with NSFM to keep up with all the municipality issues at hand. So anyways, just want to share this email that went out, and all of the names of contact are in that email that's in the council package.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, next up, we have an in-camera topic that we have to discuss. So of course, we'll be shutting off the Zoom link here. I need a motion to go in here.
Second.
David, moved by Councilor, go.
Before we go, your worship. I have a
Yes.
question. I have a couple of questions for the town supervisor. Can we want to do that now or after we come back if we can?
We probably should do it when we come back
Okay.
for me here. Okay, we've got a motion on the floor. All those in favor of going in camera, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
If I may, I guess the town supervisor doesn't